Chapter 450. Teams that hadn't been in contact with the racing track before, or hadn't made a name for themselves on the racing track, and hadn't shown their full potential to others, were generally not accepted by ordinary teams, let alone a new star racing team like Fire. Have you raced before? Lin Yan glanced at the boy as she asked softly. Yeah. The boy nodded at Lin Yan. It's just a friendly competition. It's a competition between racers. Lin Yan was speechless. A friendly competition wasn't considered a formal competition. Are you here to apply for a job? The boy studied Lin Yan curiously. He had asked the same question before but hadn't gotten an answer. I'm not. Lin Yan grinned at the boy. I'm here to recruit a racer. Huh. The child was startled when he heard Lin Yan. This was unexpected. Are you in charge of recruiting racers for Fire? The boy pressed on. I have nothing to do with Fire. I belong to another team. Lin Yan didn't hide the truth. Another team? What team is it? The boy's interest was piqued. Air. Lin Yan pondered for a moment, but she didn't know how to tell him that she belonged to the He family team. Air. Can I take a look at your resume? Lin Yan evaded the question. Yeah, sure. The boy opened his briefcase and took out a stack of documents carefully. Then he passed it to Lin Yan. Lin Yan had a rough understanding of the boy after she read his resume. The boy's name was Yun Xian. He had just graduated and loved racing. He had joined an amateur team when he was in school. However, because he was a student, he didn't have good equipment. Most of his equipment was rented, and he had raced against some low-level teams. As for Yun Xian's results, he was first in each of the 16 matches. Furthermore, Yun Xian's resume contained his unique understanding of racing, as well as some of the navigator's professional knowledge and techniques. However, it was unrealistic for him to join a new team like Fire. Most of the players recruited by any large-scale top team were players with outstanding results. After reading Yun Xian's resume, Lin Yan said, If you want to join a top team, you have to prove yourself. It was the same for both domestic and foreign racing teams. Then what should I do? Yun Xian glanced at Lin Yan. Lin Yan replied bluntly, Join a small team first and build your reputation. If you're really capable, a good team will come and recruit you. A small motorcade. Yun Xian looked a little hesitant. But I don't really want to join those small teams. It's not because of the salary, but mainly because the small teams are too weak. I can't learn anything from them. Lin Yan studied Yun Xian with an odd expression on her face. So, the reason why this boy wanted to join a famous team was to learn? Famous racing teams paid a lot of money to hire racers, so that they could win races for them. They didn't spend a lot of money to let racers learn, unless they showed amazing talent and potential in the early stages. Generally speaking, this kind of situation was very rare. Chapter 451. You just want to learn? Lin Yan's eyes flickered as she studied Yun Xian. I don't care about money. The boy nodded. But I want to learn more, to surpass my limits. Great. Lin Yan patted Yun Xian's shoulder and said solemnly, You only seek to break through your own limits. You don't have any desire for fame and fortune. Our team has always admired your attitude. You're still young, so you won't be able to earn all the money you want. You should learn more while you're young. Yun Xian eyed Lin Yan intently. Yeah. So, do you want to join my team? Lin Yan went straight to the point. Sister, can you tell me which team you belong to? Yun Xian asked curiously. Air. My team is in the midst of restructuring. It's the He family team. Have you heard of it? Asked Lin Yan. The He family team? Yun Xian frowned. But I have never heard of it. Lin Yan was speechless. Indeed, the He family team was a small team that had never participated in major competitions or won many competitions. Hence, not many people had heard of it. Although Lin Yan had represented the He family team to defeat one of the top racers in the country, it had been a challenge competition. Hence, it was normal that Yun Xian hadn't heard of it. Lin Yan glanced at Yun Xian and explained, We can't compete with the new team that you want to join. However, if you join our team, you will be able to learn a lot. If Yun Xian had joined the team for glory, fame, or money, Lin Yan wouldn't have been able to satisfy him. However, it wasn't difficult for Lin Yan to learn and become stronger. I just read your resume and gave you a suggestion. Given your current situation, joining a small team is the best choice. Of course, even if you're willing to join, you will still have to go through some tests. If you don't meet the requirements, even a small team won't accept you. Lin Yan glanced at Yun Xian as she spoke bluntly. Before Yun Xian could reply, Lin Yan added, "Of course, if you can pass the tests and prove that you are capable, I can promise that you will get what you want as long as you join our team. Otherwise, you can leave." At this moment, Yun Xian looked a little hesitant. However, he knew that Lin Yan was telling the truth. Yun Xian had applied to many famous teams, but ZH1 was the only one who had given him the same advice. Some of the famous teams had even rejected him outright. Although Yun Xian didn't want to join the small convoy, it seemed like this was the only way out given the current situation. Yun Xian didn't want to join a small team for no other reason than that he felt that staying in a small team would only waste his youth and burn away his passion. Based on his experience, he didn't think that he would be able to learn anything from a small team. "Sister, actually I'm not a newbie. That's why I don't think I'll be able to learn anything useful from a team." Yun Xian glanced at Lin Yan as he spoke. Chapter 452. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled up when she heard Yun Xian. She chuckled softly. "If I had thought that you were a newbie, I wouldn't have invited you to join my team." Also, Lin Yan paused for a moment as her eyes landed on Yun Xian. "No matter what level you are, even if you have participated in international competitions, you will be able to learn a lot by joining our team. You might think that words are useless, but I stand by my words. After you join the team, if you feel that you can't learn anything, you can turn around and leave. This will be written into your contract." Lin Yan had already made her point. If Yun Xian still didn't like her team, she would have no choice but to give up. Yun Xian pondered this for a moment before he nodded. "Okay, if what you said is true, I am willing to join your team. Besides learning, I will also do my best to bring glory to the team. This is my promise. Before I join the team, can I visit the team?" "Of course." Lin Yan glanced at Yun Xian. "Let's exchange numbers first. I will tell you the address and time." After exchanging numbers, Lin Yan parted ways with Yun Xian. Lin Yan had high hopes for Yun Xian. She admired the boy's understanding of racing and hoped that Yun Xian wasn't just good at theory. Lin Yan was surprised that she had joined the new star team. Although she hadn't been able to join the team, she had accidentally bumped into Yun Xian, who had failed the recruitment test. She had invited him to join the He family team. Was this considered a lucky break? Since it was still early, Lin Yan had no intention of slacking off. She headed to the next team. Before long, Lin Yan arrived at KNT, one of the top teams in the capital city. Once upon a time, KNT was one of the earliest racing teams in China. Their strength and scale were also considered top-notch. However, due to the management problems of the current KNT team's boss, the KNT team's situation in recent years was not optimistic. They had not even entered the third level for 4 years. After the past few days, Lin Yan had realized that it would be extremely difficult to find a good racer. No one would believe her. They would treat her like a retard. If she couldn't find anyone, she would have to try something else. Of course, if there was a need, she would consider revealing her identity in front of a few people. Get lost. Lin Yan had just arrived at KNT's headquarters when she heard an angry bellow. Instinctively, Lin Yan's eyes darted forward. A handsome man was pushed out of KNT's headquarters. The man was wearing a KNT uniform and had brown hair. The man staggered forward. He didn't seem to care about being pushed out, and a self-mocking smile hung on his face. "Mo Shuyan, your contract has expired. From today onwards, you will be removed from KNT." A middle-aged man in a suit said coldly as he stood in front of the KNT headquarters. "Is that so? That's great." Mo Shuyan stared at the man and sneered. "Ever since KNT gave all the glory and position that belonged to me to someone else last year, I've been planning to dawdle around. It doesn't matter anymore. Chapter 453. The middle-aged man's eyes were filled with disdain and disgust. That's your own problem. Get lost. After saying that, bang. The door of K&T was slammed shut. Lin Yin was dumbfounded when she saw the door shut. What was going on? Lin Yan's eyes trailed to the man. The man seemed to be a K&T racer, as he was still wearing his K&T uniform. However, he looked a little desolate, and there was a mocking smile on his face. He didn't seem to care that he had been kicked out of K&T. As Lin Yin sized up the man, his eyes inadvertently landed on Lin Yin as well. The man was puzzled when he first saw Lin Yin. Then, he scrutinized her carefully for a moment before his eyes widened in shock. Hold on. You. Yes, it's you. The man stared at Lin Yin for a moment before he strode over to her. Lin Yin was puzzled when she saw this. Hold on. You. Aren't you that? The man frowned as he stood beside Lin Yin, as though he was trying hard to recall. Lin Pianruo. Suddenly, the man pointed at Lin Yin looking shocked. Yes, it's you. You're Lin Pianruo. Am I seeing things? You're really Lin Pianruo. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched when she heard the man. Her name was Lin Yan. Lin Pianruo was just a character she had played. Lin Pianruo, I'm your idol. The man looked excited. Lin Yan was speechless. No, you're my idol. The man gazed at Lin Yin excitedly. I've watched it 5 times. I went to the cinema and watched it 5 times. You acted really well. Really, I swear. Lin Yin gazed at the man and fell silent for a moment. Hi, my name isn't Lin Pianruo. My name is Lin Yan. Oh, I'm sorry. Your role as Lin Pianruo was too shocking. It left a deep impression on me. So, the man looked awkward. Lin Yin chuckled softly. I can understand. She hadn't expected this. She actually had a fan now, and someone had recognized her. It seemed that she was really starting to become popular. Oh yeah, why are you here? Are you going to K&T? Are you interested in racing too? Oh yeah, the movie legend is currently casting Yeva. You must be here to fight for the role. Many celebrities have come to watch the movie, the man replied. Lin Yin didn't reply. Instead, she studied the man and asked, Are you a member of the K&T team? The man chuckled softly. However, there was a hint of self-mockery in his laughter. An hour ago I was. Now, I have nothing to do with K&T. Lin Yin had witnessed everything that had happened, but she didn't know the full story. She only knew that the former racer had been kicked out of K&T. Let's not talk about that. Miss Lin, can we exchange contact information? I'm a loyal fan of yours. Although I've only watched this movie, I'll definitely contribute to the box office for all of your movies in the future. The man said. Hold on. Lin Yan eyed the man intently. The man was disappointed when he saw Lin Yan's expression. However, it made sense. Which artists would exchange contact information with their fans so casually? You don't have a team now, right? Why don't we talk about a team? Lin Yan's lips curled into a smile. There aren't many slots left for the canvas bag. Everyone, please vote and leave comments. The monthly activity will end in a week. I'll post the details again. The top 200 most active readers on the QQ Reader Circle will receive different exquisite accessories. The deadline will be October 31st at 23:50 p.m. First to third place. Yusheng's custom-made lamp plus Yimeng's custom-made humidifier plus Yusheng's custom-made mug plus set of signed postcards plus Lin Yan's suddenly rich canvas bag 4th to 10th place. Humidifier plus mug plus postcards plus canvas bag 11th to 50th place. Mug plus postcards plus canvas bag 51-100 place. Postcards plus canvas bag 101-150 place. Canvas bag 151-200 place. Postcards PS. You can win multiple prizes with other activities. You just need to have the votes for the month of October. The postcards are a set, and one of them is signed. Chapter 454. Mo Shuyan was taken aback by Lin Yan's words. He looked a little confused. She was talking about the team? Mo Shuyan quickly understood what was going on. Recently, an overseas movie, Legend, had been casting for the role of the racetrack's Grim Reaper. Hence, many female celebrities had taken the initiative to approach some famous teams in the industry. They wanted to compete for the role of the racetrack's Grim Reaper Yev. If they knew nothing about racing, they wouldn't be suitable. Hence, Mo Xuyan assumed that Lin Yan had been referring to this topic. Sure. If you want to learn more about racing, I can help you. Mo Xuyan glanced at Lin Yan. Huh. Lin Yan was puzzled by Mo Xuyan's words. Learn more about racing? Since when had she said that she wanted to learn from Mo Xuyan? She had merely said that she wanted to talk about racing teams. There was no connection between the two. Lin Yan, who knew that Mo Xuyan had misunderstood her, smiled and explained. You've misunderstood. I have no intention of learning about racing. Then what do you mean, Miss Lin? Mo Xuyan was puzzled. It's like this. Lin Yan gathered her thoughts and glanced at Mo Xuyan. You used to be a racer for beer. Coincidentally, I have a team that is currently in the midst of restructuring. We are lacking experienced racers. Would you be interested in joining us? After Lin Yan's explanation, Mo Xuyan finally understood what she meant. However, Mo Xuyan didn't seem interested in joining a new team. He replied bluntly, I see. But I just quit my job. That's a pity. Lin Yan shook her head at Mo Xuyan. Miss Lin, may I ask what kind of team you belong to? Mo Xuyan asked curiously. It's the He family team. Lin Yan explained to Mo Xuyan. The He family team. Mo Xuyan was taken aback. The He family team. Wait a minute. Is it the He family team that defeated WW? Yeah. Lin Yan nodded. Mo Xuyan couldn't believe his ears. Miss Lin, are you the boss of the He family team? As a professional racer for fire, Mo Xuyan was naturally aware of WW's recent humiliation. They had wanted to challenge ZH1, but they had been tricked by ZH1. They had sent a small team like the He family team to compete with WW. To everyone's surprise, WW had been defeated. They had been defeated by the He family's team. Actually, the first half of the race was within everyone's expectations. When the He family team had just started, WW had already pulled ahead of them. However, something unexpected happened during the second half of the race. A racer from the He family team had single-handedly caught up with all the WW racers. He had even overtaken the captain of the WW team and helped the He family team win the race. WW had become a laughingstock. Recently, Mo Xuyan had also been paying attention to this matter. Later on, the competition officials had started investigating. It seemed that someone had reported that the race had been faked, and the analysis of the videos online was unreasonable. As for the truth, Mo Xuyan had no idea. However, Mo Xuyan seemed to have thought of something at the mention of this matter. Wait! Chapter 455. Mo Xuyan stared at Lin Yan in shock. The racer who beat WW. Is that you? I did race against WW and I won. Lin Yan didn't deny it. Meeting One's match hadn't been released yet when the He family team had competed against WW. Hence, Mo Xuyan had never heard of Lin Yan. After that, he had fallen in love with Meeting One's match and read the original novel. That was how he had gotten to know Lin Yan, who had played the role of Lin Pianro. However, he had never associated her with the racer Lin Yan from the He family. So, the actress he had fallen in love with was Lin Yan from the He family team, and had defeated WW? This was too ridiculous. Mo Xuyan found everything that had happened ridiculous. First, he had been kicked out of fire. Then Lin Yan, the actress who had portrayed Lin Pianro, had approached him and invited him to join her team. He also knew that Lin Yan had been a member of the He family team that had defeated WW. Idol, can you tell me more about your team? If you want to invite me to join your team, I need to understand everything before I make a decision. Mo Xuyan glanced at Lin Yan as he spoke. Lin Yan didn't reject him. The two of them found a nearby tea house and sat down to chat. Lin Yan didn't hide anything from Mo Xuyan about the He family team's situation. She told him the truth, including how the He family team had been reorganized and reformed. Then if I join, there will only be 2 racers? Mo Shuyan gazed at Lin Yan, lost in his thoughts. Actually, Mo Shuyan agreed with Lin Yan's idea and the way she had handled the situation. Mo Shuyan had watched the competition between WW and the He family team. The disparity between the He family team and WW aside, the He family team didn't have a single racer who could be considered a professional racer. They didn't even have the professionalism that a small team should have. If the He family team didn't rebuild, it would be useless no matter how much money they invested or how good their equipment was. I have a cousin who is also a member of the He family team. However, his racing skills. Lin Yan felt a little helpless at the mention of He Lufeng. He Lufeng's skills were probably inferior to those hooligans. At most, he was on par with them. If he wanted to go further in the professional scene, this was definitely not enough. Unless Lin Yan trained him specifically, that would depend on his own talent. Right now, it's a beginner racing team. As long as they're willing to put in the effort, I'm fine with coaching them. However, if we make a major change, we won't be able to compete because we don't have enough people. Even if we find a racer, we'll need to train them for a period of time. At the very least, we need to develop teamwork on the racetrack, Mo Shuyan said. Before Lin Yan could respond, Mo Shuyan added, Miss Lin, why don't we? If you really want to rebuild the team, I can recruit some racers. Lin Yan had no objections to that. After all, Mo Shuyan was a former racer of fire, so he was very familiar with the racing scene in China. If Mo Shuyan was willing to help find racers, he would naturally be much more efficient than her. Chapter 456. So you're agreeing to join the He family team? Lin Yan eyed Mo Shuyan intently. Mo Shuyan nodded eagerly and grinned. Of course I'm willing. If the He family team doesn't reorganize itself and retain its original members, I definitely won't join. However, it's a different matter altogether. Besides, Queen Pianruo will be my boss. Lin Yan interrupted Mo Shuyan. I'm just a member of the He family team, and I have my own job to do. I can't compete in every race. Miss Lin, before I join the He family team, I need to ask you a question. I hope that you can be honest with me. Mo Shuyan eyed Lin Yan intently. What is it? Asked Lin Yan. Mo Shuyan fell silent for some time before he replied. It was the competition between the He family team and WW team. I know that it was a competition between two teams, but in reality, Miss Lin defeated the entire WW team single-handedly. Besides, I watched the video of the competition. It felt like a performance. It's all right. Please continue. Lin Yan grinned. Mo Shuyan nodded. From my point of view, there are only two outcomes for this match. Mo Shuyan paused for a moment before he added. The first possibility is that WW colluded with Miss Lin Yan or Zichuan to fix the competition. The second outcome. Mo Shuyan studied Lin Yan's nonchalant expression. Miss Lin, you crushed WW completely. The difference between WW and you was huge. That's why you were able to end the competition like a performance. So which one do you think it is? Lin Yan chuckled softly. It's hard to say. Mo Shuyan shook his head, looking perplexed. Lin Yan was an actress, while WW was one of the most prestigious teams in the country. Their new captain had performed extremely well in the third level of the world. Logically speaking, given the video of the competition, it had to be a rigged competition. However, no matter how Mo Shuyan thought about it, he still couldn't figure out the purpose of this fixed match. WW and ZH1 were archenemies. It was impossible for WW to lose to the He family team that ZH1 had sent to replace them. Unless there was some sort of insider trading that no one knew about, it would be impossible. Miss Lin, could you please tell me if the competition between the He family team and WW team was rigged? Asked Mo Shuyan. Lin Yan grinned. Is WW really that strong? Is it so strong that anyone who defeats them will be accused of rigging the competition? Mo Shuyan's eyes glinted when he heard Lin Yan's reply. Although Lin Yan hadn't said it out loud, her words had made it very obvious. WW was too weak for Lin Yan. At this moment, Mo Shuyan was even more curious about the girl in front of him. Was she really just an actress? Miss Lin, I believe you. Mo Shuyan took a sip of his tea and nodded at Lin Yan. I'm well aware of the relationship between ZH1 and WW. Firstly, WW doesn't lack money. Besides, there's a deep grudge between the two teams. I don't think it's possible for either team to lose to the other team in a fake competition. Chapter 457. Thank you for your understanding and trust. Lin Yan thanked Mo Shuyan. Therefore, I have two conditions for joining the He family team. Mo Shuyan replied solemnly. Firstly, I can't accept being a mere member of the team. Given my abilities, I'm more than qualified to be the captain of an established team. Hence, I want to be the captain of the He family team. Lin Yan nodded and agreed to Mo Shuyan's first condition. Just as Mo Shuyan had said, given his experience and ability, it would be a waste for him to be the captain of the He family team. This was the beginning of the He family team's restructuring. If Mo Shuyan was willing to help out, Lin Yan would be more than happy to oblige. What's the second condition? Asked Lin Yan. Mo Shuyan replied, Miss Lin, the second condition is that I want a small share of the He family team. I don't need a lot, just 10% will do. I don't need a salary, and I will bring funds into the He family team. Lin Yan was taken aback when she heard Mo Shuyan's second condition. Had she heard wrongly? How could there be such a good deal? Did this man have a grudge against money? Not only would he not need a salary, but he would also bring funds into the He family team. Right now, the He family team was just a beginner team. They hadn't won many competitions, so they couldn't see their future. How could Mo Shuyan want a share of the He family team? Can you tell me why? Lin Yan stared at Mo Shuyan intently. Haha, Miss Lin, isn't this simple? If what Miss Lin said was true, and there was no fake match between you and the WW team, then it can only prove one thing. Miss Lin, your standards should be able to match up to the third level of the international competition. If you add in my training methods and help the He family team recruit better racers, I believe that in less than 5 years, the He family team will become one of the top teams in the country. In at most 7 years, we will be able to compete in the third level of the international competition. I want a share of the He family team, because I want to earn money. Mo Shuyan grinned. A top team in 5 years, and the third level of the international competition in 7 years? Lin Yan fell into deep thought. If that was really the case, the He family team could just disband immediately. Why would she spend so much effort to reorganize the team? Miss Lin, you don't have to doubt yourself. I believe in my judgment. I am confident that I can make the He family team one of the top teams in the country within 5 years, and enter the third level of the international competition within 8 years. Mo Shuyan's eyes lit up with excitement. Lin Yan stared at him intently. Didn't you say 7 years? Then 7 years it is. Lin Yan was speechless. Just like that, Mo Shuyan successfully joined the He family team. The two of them agreed to have dinner at the He family's old mansion the next day. They would also introduce Mo Shuyan to the real boss of the He family team. Lin Yan had also sent Yun Xian an address and invited him along. After returning to Cloud Manor, Yun Xian replied, Sister, are there many people? Lin Yan glanced at the message and replied casually, Including you, there are about 5 or 6 people. After some time, Yun Xian replied with a voice message, All right then, I will be there on time. Thank you, sister. Mo Shuyan gave Lin Yan the impression that he was an experienced racer who had been in the racing industry for many years. Yun Xian, on the other hand, was different. He was a newcomer who loved racing. However, Lin Yan didn't feel confident about Yun Xian's personality. Update has ended. Chapter 458. After interacting with Yun Xian for a while, Lin Yan realized that he was shy. Generally speaking, professional racers rarely had this kind of personality. Most racers' styles were directly linked to their personalities. If a racer had a fiery personality, their style on the track would be more violent. If a racer had a steady personality, their style on the track would be more stable and survival. It was all different. Lin Yan had never met a racer like Yin Xian in her racing career. Hence, she was filled with anticipation and curiosity about him. Lin Yan dialed her grandfather's number. Her grandfather's voice came through the phone. Xiaoyan, it's late. Why are you looking for me? Grandfather, I'm going back to the old mansion for dinner tomorrow, replied Lin Yan. Sure. Go back more often. Grandfather, I'll be bringing 2 racers with me tomorrow. One of them will be the captain of the He family team. Lin Yan got straight to the point. The person on the other end of the line fell silent. He Dinkuan had assumed that Lin Yan would be returning to the old mansion for dinner. He hadn't expected that she would be bringing a racer to the He family's mansion. Captain, are you kidding me? Are you going to bring a random person back to be our captain? Before her grandfather could speak, He Xiong's voice came through the phone. Lin Yan glanced at the time. It should be dinner time now. She reckoned that He Xiong and He Dinkuan were sitting together, so He Xiong had overheard her conversation. Of course, Lin Yan didn't care. If Mo Shuyan had heard the manager of a junior team describe him as a random person, how would he feel? Although Lin Yan wasn't familiar with the racing scene in the country, she knew that a racer like Mo Shuyan might not be famous among the top teams in the country. However, if he were to be placed in a junior team, he would probably be considered a godly figure that was out of their reach. Xiaoyan, all right. I got it. Bring him back tomorrow. He Dinkuan replied. Okay, grandfather. See you tomorrow night. Lin Yan hung up the phone. Shortly after Lin Yan hung up, Pei Yutong barged in hastily. Sister-in-law, where have you been? I've been looking for you all day. You didn't even reply to my messages. Pei Yutong blurted out anxiously. You've been looking for me all day? Lin Yan was startled. Because of Yin Xian and Mo Shuyan, she hadn't had time to look at her phone. Hence, she hadn't known that Pei Yutong was looking for her. I called you a few times and sent dozens of texts, but you didn't reply. Pei Yutong looked aggrieved. Lin Yan was speechless. Lin Yan stared at him and replied helplessly. Why are you looking for me? What's so urgent? Pei Yutong's eyes gleamed with excitement as he stared at Lin Yan. There's something important. It's a greeting gift. A gift? Lin Yan was startled. What gift? It's a gift for Yeva. Pei Yutong sat down beside Lin Yan. Sister-in-law, we're going to meet Yeva at a private banquet in 2 days. We can't possibly go empty-handed. That would be impolite. What should we give her? It has to be expensive, but it can't be too cheap. I wanted to give her money, but I didn't think it would be appropriate. A car doesn't seem appropriate either. Chapter 459. You want to give me a car and money? Lin Yan stared at Pei Yutong in shock. Hadn't his big brother restricted his finances? He had invested all his money into the team. Where had he gotten so much money? Of course, that wasn't the main point. The main point was that he wanted to give the imposter an expensive gift. How could he do that? Pei Yutong could give her his body, but he couldn't give her money. Pei Yutong noticed that something was wrong with Lin Yan. So he asked curiously, Sister-in-law, what's wrong? Lin Yan snapped back to her senses and took a deep breath. Did you burn too much money? Didn't your big brother restrict your finances? Pei Yutong smiled mysteriously. Even if he restricted my finances, and the team has been incurring losses, I still have some money. It's definitely enough for me to give her an expensive gift. Besides, sister-in-law, what do you mean by burning too much money? She is the racetrack's Grim Reaper. Besides, everyone who attended the private banquet has been looking for a gift. It wouldn't be right if I didn't give her a gift. Lin Yan glanced at Pei Yutong. The real Pei Yutong was standing right in front of him. Yet he hadn't given her a gift. Instead, he had chosen to give her an imposter. How could a human do that? Sister-in-law, I can't think of anything. Can you help me? Asked Pei Yutong. I don't think that's necessary. Lin Yan contemplated this for some time before she grinned at Pei Yutong. Think about it. The racetrack's Grim Reaper has seen everything. You have to show that you are special in order to make her remember you. Huh. Pei Yutong was dumbfounded. Show that he was special. He wanted to. But how could he show that he was special and make the racetrack's Grim Reaper remember him? Think about it. Everyone else gave her an expensive gift, but you didn't. How special is that? If it were me, I would remember you for the rest of my life. I swear. Ling Yin gazed at Pei Yutong solemnly. Pei Yutong was speechless. Sister-in-law, stop fooling around. I'm serious. I would rather not remember your way of remembering me. Pei Yutong sighed heavily. You've made up your mind. You have to give it to me, right? Ling Yin frowned at him. Pei Yutong hurriedly nodded. That's for sure. What I mean is that the gift has to be unique. It has to be meaningful and classy. It has to be memorable. Ling Yan felt a little helpless. Why wouldn't this kid listen to her? Ling Yan's eyes darted around. Do you believe me? Sister-in-law, of course I believe you, replied Pei Yutong. Let's do it this way. Ling Yan pondered this for a moment before she added. You don't have to worry about the gift. I'll help you prepare it. It will definitely be classy and expensive. What do you think? Really? Pei Yutong's eyes lit up. Pei Yutong wasn't good at giving gifts. He had never given any of his previous girlfriends anything. Don't worry, leave it to me. Just transfer the money to me. Ling Yan nodded. I'm relieved. Pei Yutong heaved a sigh of relief. Oh yeah. Pei Yutong, who was about to leave, suddenly turned around and told Lin Yan. Sister-in-law, there will be a private banquet in 3 days. The top racers in the country will be competing with Yeva. I've booked a seat for you. Let's go and watch together. Okay. Lin Yan agreed readily. Chapter 460. After Pei Yutong left, Ling Yan fell into deep thought. From what Pei Yutong had revealed, it was obvious that the imposter was quite capable. Otherwise, she wouldn't have dared to compete with the top teams in the country. Wouldn't she have exposed herself if she had done so? In other words, the imposter was confident that she could beat the best team in the country. Otherwise, she wouldn't have agreed to compete. However, Ling Yan had no idea what was going on. She would have to attend the banquet to find out more. Ling Yan lay on her bed feeling bored. She scrolled through Weibo and realized that Wei Shufeng's name had become a trending topic. Wei Shufeng had only posted one post on Weibo. 3 days from now will be the happiest day of my life. Wait for me. There were more than 100,000 comments and shares. Most of them were asking about what had happened and why he would be the happiest day of his life in 3 days. However, Wei Shufeng didn't reply. Others might not have known, but Ling Yan was well aware of it. 3 days from now, the imposter would be holding a private banquet. As Yeva's hardcore fan, Wei Shufeng had naturally been invited. Based on Pei Yutong's explanation, Ling Yan had learned that everyone had to sign a confidentiality agreement. The racetrack's Grim Reaper had retired due to her injury and had been keeping a low profile. She had never appeared in public or accepted interviews. Hence, anyone who attended the banquet was not allowed to speak to the media. If the media reported on it, the banquet would be cancelled. Those who were invited were all Yeva's hardcore fans. As Yeva's hardcore fans, they naturally knew Yeva's style and personality. Hence, even if they didn't sign a confidentiality agreement, no one would reveal this matter to anyone. Ling Yan was guessing that Lin Shuya would reveal to the public that she had met the racetrack's Grim Reaper after the banquet. Then, she would be able to get the role of Yeva in Legend. Ling Yan glanced at Wei Shufeng's Weibo before she exited it. 3 days later, she would give everyone a surprise. Lin Shuya wanted to ride on Yeva's popularity? No way. The imposter wanted to impersonate her to make money? No way. She had already started to despise her. But the imposter was using her identity to make money. She was 100,000 times more despicable than Lin Shuya. The next day, Ling Yan had originally wanted to meet Yun Xian and Mo Shuyan. However, Yun Xian wasn't feeling well and had to go to the hospital, while Mo Shuyan had to settle some personal matters. Hence, they had to meet at the He family's mansion that night. Ling Yan searched for news about Yeva. In the end, the results were the same as before. The racetrack's Grim Reaper was severely injured. The new king of the racetrack's Grim Reaper had been defeated. The WZ team had lost the competition for the first time. The racetrack's Grim Reaper, Yeva, had retired temporarily due to her injuries. It had to be said that the die-hard fans who were invited to the private banquet were indeed very tight-lipped. They did not leak any information to the outside world. When Pei Yutong and ZH1 had told her about this, they had asked her to promise that she wouldn't reveal anything to the public. Actually, Lin Yin couldn't wait to spread this news. She wanted all the media to know that Yeva had come to the country. Then, the domestic racing industry would be hyped up because of Yeva's arrival. Yeva's identity as an imposter would definitely be exposed. Chapter 461. However, Lin Yin decided against it. She didn't want Yeva's name to appear in the public eye. If they found out that she had been banned for using illegal drugs, she would be the one who would embarrass herself. Besides, there was no need to mobilize so many people just to deal with an imposter. Actually, Lin Yin was most afraid that the imposter would come prepared. If the media were to be alerted, the imposter would be able to make money quickly and leave. If that happened, the imposter's identity might not even be exposed. That night, Lin Yin texted Mo Shuyan and Yun Xian before taking a cab to the He family's mansion. Yun Xian was already on the way, but he might be a few minutes late due to the traffic. Mo Shuyan had just left his house as well. Yun Xian had been feeling unwell, so he had gone to the hospital. Mo Shuyan, on the other hand, had no sense of time at all. They had agreed to meet at the He family's mansion at 6, but Mo Shuyan had left at exactly that time. When they arrived, Wei Shifeng opened the door for Lin Yin. Lin Yin realized that all the members of the He family team were there, including He Xiong and He Mingkai. Xiaoyan, you're here? The old master, He Dingquan, strode out and glanced at Lin Yin. Grandfather. Lin Yin nodded and sat down. Why? I heard that you found a captain for the He family team? Lin Yin had just sat down when He Xiong glanced at her and spoke sarcastically. Where is he? Let's see what kind of monster he is. He Xiong pressed on when Lin Yin remained silent. Haha. Qing Li sneered coldly. Miss Lin Yin, as long as you don't harm the He family team, we will survive. We don't need a captain. Mingkai is more than capable enough. Lin Yin had just sat down when Yun Xian texted her. Sister, I'm here. I'm outside. Can you open the door for me? Lin Yin stood up and opened the door. Everyone's gaze turned towards the door and saw a young and handsome boy dressed in casual clothes, standing quietly at the door. If he didn't speak and the sky was dark, he would have been mistaken for a quiet girl. Sister. Yun Xian greeted Lin Yin softly. Yun Xian, come in. Lin Yin grinned at him. Yun Xian nodded, took off his shoes, and carefully walked into the He family mansion. Miss Lin Yin, are you trying to tell us that this boy is the captain you found for the He family team? Qing Li sneered coldly when he saw Yun Xian enter the room. After Qing Li's words left his mouth, the He family members all began to laugh mockingly. As they looked at the silent Yun Xian, the disdain and ridicule in their eyes were not concealed at all. They wouldn't even agree to let a young, autistic boy like him be their assistant or a substitute member, let alone their captain. Yun Xian had assumed that only a few people would be attending the banquet. However, to his surprise, the He family mansion was filled with dozens of people dressed in the He family team's uniforms. Yun Xian stood at the side almost instinctively, not saying a word. Update is over. Looking for monthly votes and recommendation votes. The winner's list of 50 canvas bags will be announced at the end of the month. Chapter 462. Do you know how to race? No. Do you know how to drive? Qing Li's eyes trailed to Yun Xian as he sneered coldly. Yes. Yun Xian replied after a moment. Ling Yan, what kind of joke is this? How could you make a random person the captain of the He family team? He Xiong glared at Lin Yan and hissed coldly. Lin Yan, let me tell you. You can't even be a substitute, let alone a captain. A person with such a personality isn't suitable to race. Also, you better stay away from the He family team. Don't think that you can do whatever you want just because the old master dotes on you. Do you want to destroy the He family team? Dream on. Dad, why are you wasting your breath on such a person? If I were you, I would have thrown them out. He Minkai smirked. He Lufeng stared at Lin Yen, as though he wanted to say something. However, he didn't know what to say. Miss Lin Yen, how could such a person join the He family team and be the captain? One of the navigators glanced at Lin Yen. I'm afraid you must have drunk too much. Shut up. Old Master He Dinkuan frowned with displeasure on his face. Old Master, it's not that we don't want to say anything, but your granddaughter doesn't know anything. She brought along an unknown person, yet she wants him to join the He family team. Isn't that a joke? Qingli quipped. Before the old man could say anything, someone knocked on the door again. Lin Yin shot He Lufeng a look, and he stepped forward to open the door. Mo Shuyan was standing at the door with a smile on his face. He ignored He Lufeng and strode into the mansion. Idol, I'm here. Mo Shuyan grinned at Lin Yen. Lin Yen grinned back at him. Have a seat. Okay. Mo Shuyan placed the gifts he had bought aside and scanned the crowd solemnly. It seems like everyone here is a member of the He family team. Let me introduce myself. Forget it. Forget it, the past isn't important. From now on, I will be the captain of the He family team. You can call me Captain Mo, or Captain Shu, or Captain Yin. Before anyone could say anything, Mo Shuyan shook his head and said seriously. Forget it, Captain Shuyan isn't good. It's inauspicious. Just call me Captain Mo. All the members of the He family team roared with laughter at Mo Shuyan's words. Who are you? Is there something wrong with your brain? Why are you still calling yourself Captain Mo? Lin Yin, you're hilarious. First you found a little boy. In the end you found an idiot. What kind of grudge do you have against the He family team? Mo Shuyan furrowed his brows. Not only was he the captain of the He family team, but he was also a shareholder. Who the hell would talk to a shareholder like that? He was only one contract away from becoming a shareholder. What kind of respect was that? You and you. That's right, all of you are fired. Mo Shuyan sneered as he pointed at Qing Li and the others. Mo Shuyan's words caused everyone to roar with laughter. Ha ha ha. What did this fool say? I'm fired. Me too. I'm fired too. I'm laughing so hard that I'm in tears. Chapter 463. Lin Yin glanced at Mo Shuyan. Captain Mo, this is my grandfather. He is also the boss of the He family team. Mo Shuyan nodded and glanced at He Dinkuan. Hello, old master. My name is Mo Shuyan. I used to be the captain of fire. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. He Dinkuan greeted Mo Shuyan softly. However, Yin Xian's expression changed slightly. He finally raised his head and looked at Mo Shuyan. It's really you. The former ace of Team Fire. I've seen your race. You're amazing. Fire. Ha ha ha. What are you talking about? I'm the captain of ZH1. We all know the captain of fire. His name isn't Mo Shuyan, and he doesn't look like you. Miss Lin is indeed an actress. How could she find such an actor to act with us? Fire had a long history, and was the first racing team in the country. Hence, the He family team naturally knew about Fire. Are you talking about the current captain? He is my apprentice. I was indeed Fire's captain a few years ago. Mo Shuyan's eyes flickered with an indescribable emotion when he mentioned Fire's current captain. There was also a hint of resentment in his eyes. What? You were the one who groomed Fire's captain? Yes, I admire you. Actually, I have a secret. I groomed Lang Mang. No one else knows about it. You guys are amazing, but I can't. I only groomed the racetrack's Grim Reaper. Yeva. Qing Li grinned mockingly at him. Mo Shuyan shrugged nonchalantly. He couldn't be bothered to argue with the He family team. Instead, he took out his resume and handed it to the old master. Old master, how about this? Let's go to the venue and test my skills. Due to certain reasons, I haven't had many opportunities to compete in the past few years. Hence, I have to rely on my abilities. I'll race alone against all the members of the He family team. If anyone can finish the first lap, I'll leave immediately. If not, all the pests of the He family team will have to scram. Emoshian grinned. Two of the He family team members had specially searched for information online. They glanced at the photo on their phones before glancing at the man in front of them. According to the information they found, he was indeed the former captain of fire. However, he looked very handsome and energetic. However, the man in front of them only had a slight resemblance to the man in the photo. Furthermore, the name of the former captain of fire in the photo was Ryan, not Emoshian. I don't think he's alone, one of the racers whispered to Qingli. Qingli took the phone and studied it carefully. Then he replied coldly, "They do look alike, but it's obvious that they aren't the same person. Besides, didn't the higher-ups say that Ryan isn't Emoshian? Besides, do you really think that Lin Yan could find the ex-captain of fire and join the He family team? Use your ass to think, is it realistic?" Qingli was right. They had been worrying too much. Any normal person with a brain would not leave a well-known big team to join a small team that could be disbanded at any time, let alone the captain of a big team. Old Master, what do you think? Emoshian glanced at Hidinkuin with a smile. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit IAI. Chapter 464. Alright, sure. Hidinkuin contemplated for a moment before he nodded in agreement. Actually, the old master had his suspicions about Emoshian's identity. Lin Yan had no reason to lie to him, but he was afraid that she had run into a scammer. Hidinkuin knew about fire, but he didn't know much about them. Regardless of this person's identity, he had to go to the venue to test the car. He had no reason to reject him. If you want to test the car, of course you can. If you lose, you have to crawl out of here. He Minkai glanced at Lin Yan. You too. Crawl out with him. Don't let me see you again. Otherwise, you'll have to bear the consequences. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled up. Sure. If the He family team wanted to humiliate themselves, she wouldn't mind. Emoshian had indeed been the former captain of fire. He had been nicknamed the Little King Ryan, and he had been an awe-inspiring racer. However, at that time, the domestic racing industry hadn't been that popular. Furthermore, Emoshian had left fire for 2 years due to some personal matters. Not long after he had returned, he had been left on the bench and rarely had a chance to compete. Lin Yan had no idea why that had happened. Regardless, Lin Yan was certain that Emoshian could beat all the members of the He family team with his eyes closed. I think. Suddenly Yun Xian, who was standing beside Lin Yan, said softly, "I can go and try too. Let's go together." Lin Yan grinned. Okay. Yun Xian nodded happily. At the mention of racing, Yun Xian's cells seemed to come alive. His eyes glowed with excitement. 15 minutes later, they arrived at the He family team's rented venue. The He family team's cars were parked there. At that moment, the sky was a little dark, but for professional racers, they could easily drive in any kind of weather. Captain, I can replace you and beat them. Suddenly, Yun Xian's eyes landed on Emoshian as he muttered softly. Last night, I watched a lot of He family team's competition videos. They are too weak. What nonsense are you spouting? One of the racers was enraged by Yun Xian's words. He swung his fist at Yun Xian. However, before his fist could land, Lin Yan, who was standing next to him, intercepted it. Lin Yan was extraordinarily strong. No matter how hard the racer tried, he couldn't free his fist from Lin Yan's grip. Watch your mouth. Lin Yan's eyes gleamed coldly as she hissed at the racer. Then she released her grip. Damn it, this woman looked so weak. But how could she be so strong? Finding 2 pieces of trash to pretend to be experts. Let's see how you'll die. The driver grunted and rubbed his aching knuckles. Without looking back, he opened the door and entered. Don't worry. Emoshian's gaze landed on Yun Xian as he smiled and said, After they scram, I'll personally test you. If you're not strong enough, you'll have to scram like them. So be prepared. All right. Yin Xian nodded with a serious expression. Chapter 465. Naturally, Emo Shuyan didn't have a car of his own, so he picked one at random. Are you guys ready for your last race with the He family team? Emo Shuyan opened the driver's door and stepped inside. He didn't forget to glance at the racer as he spoke. The He family team members sneered coldly at Emo Shuyan's words. No one was more familiar with the He family team's training ground than they were. Even if this man was a professional racer from Fire, he wouldn't be able to beat them in the He family team's training ground. Emo Shuyan, who was bored by the fact that no one was paying attention to him, entered his car. Soon, more than a dozen cars roared to life. He Minkai's car was the first to leave the starting point. Emo Shuyan followed closely behind him. In just a few seconds, all the He family cars had left the starting point. Although He Minkai's car was extremely fast, it did not take long for Emo Shuyan to overtake it under the watchful eyes of the crowd. Emo Shuyan drove his car in front of He Lufeng's car and slowed down. He seemed to be waiting for He Minkai. However, just as He Lufeng was about to overtake Emo Shuyan's car sped up and sped up. He had fooled He Minkai and sped away. He Xiong's face darkened when he saw this. No matter how stupid the He family team was, they realized that the man Lin Yan had brought was indeed an expert. However, He Xiong and the others couldn't figure out why this man, who was so good at racing, would be willing to join a low-level team like the He family team. If any of them had been as good as him, they wouldn't have been tempted, no matter how much money the He family team offered. Joining a low-level team like the He family team would be akin to burning one's career. It would be a joke to risk one's youth and future. Be it in terms of future, rewards, or glory, a low-level team couldn't even be compared to a mid-level team, let alone a famous team. Xiaoyan. He Dingquan strode over to Lin Yan, his eyes filled with shock. Emo Shuyan. Was he really a professional racer in Fire? He was even the captain. Lin Yan nodded and replied, Grandfather, this is what happened. After confirming with Lin Yan, He Dingquan was still in disbelief. Logically speaking, it was impossible for a professional racer from Fire, who used to be the captain of the team, to suddenly join the He family team and become the captain of the He family team. For example, if the richest man in the world didn't want to live a good life and insisted on becoming a beggar, he would rather suffer the disdain of others and beg for a living. Therefore, this matter in itself was an unreasonable thing. However, the truth was right before their eyes. Regardless of whether Emo Shuyan was a professional racer for Fear or not, his control over the track during the race was simply too terrifying. This was the He family team's training ground, so the track was extremely complicated. The He family team had been training there for a long time, so they were already used to it. They knew every corner of the track like the back of their hands. Even so, Emo Shuyan's car had already left the He family team far behind. Dash update is over. Begging for monthly votes. Begging for tickets. Chapter 466. Therefore, it no longer mattered whether or not Emo Shuyan was a professional racer in the advanced racing team, nor had he ever been a captain. What mattered was that Emo Shuyan was indeed an expert. A team like the He family team couldn't be compared to him. Good. Very good. Old Master He Dingquan's eyes gleamed with excitement. If such an expert joined the He family team, the He family team would have boundless hope. They might even be able to get rid of their title as a junior team. Oh yeah. Suddenly, the old master's eyes landed on Yun Xian, who was standing beside Lin Yan. He Dingquan's interest in this boy was piqued. Yun Xian didn't look very old, so he should have graduated from school not too long ago. Hi boss. Yun Xian glanced at He Dingquan and greeted him shyly. Lin Yan had introduced him to the old man. He was the boss of the He family team. Hi, you're Yin Xian, right? He Dinkuan smiled at him. Yeah. Yin Xian nodded. Lin Yin told He Dinkuan about Yin Xian. He Dinkuan wasn't surprised. Actually, most racing enthusiasts would choose to join a famous team after they decided to pursue a career. Very few of them would choose to join a small team. However, He Dinkuan wasn't sure how good Yin Xian was. Although Yin Xian had achieved some outstanding results during his student days, that didn't mean that he could become a professional racer. Before He Dinkuan could say anything else, a loud explosion rang out. He Dinkuan and the others turned to see that Mo Shuyan had returned to the starting point and completed the second lap. The He family team, including He Mingkai, had been left far behind. Mo Shuyan opened the door and stepped out of the car. He removed his helmet and glanced at He Dinkuan. Old master, we should replace our team members a long time ago. They are all hooligans. None of them are useful. If Mo Shuyan had said this earlier, he would have been mocked and ridiculed. However, no one dared to retort now. Speed was everything to a racer. In the racing industry, the strong always had the right to speak. With Mo Shuyan's skills, it was unthinkable for him to join a team like theirs. Never in their wildest dreams would they have thought that this person was actually the captain of Team Fire. To be precise, they hadn't expected that Lin Yan would be able to recruit the captain of Fire. After running for a long time, He Mingkai and the others finally reached the finish line. Their faces were covered in dirt, and they looked like defeated roosters. At this moment, they could no longer make sarcastic remarks. Lin Yan grinned at them. So can we talk about reorganizing the team now? He Mingkai and He Xiong stood there with dark faces, not saying a word. Everyone else was also silent. The old man said, Xiaoyan, it's getting late. Tomorrow, let's arrange a time with Captain Mo and our young friend Yin Xian to talk in detail. Now that she had proven Mo Xian's capability, it meant that Lin Yan had found a reliable teammate. Hence, she wasn't in a hurry to test Yin Xian. Lin Yan glanced at Mo Xian and Yin Xian. Mo Xian shrugged. Sure, I'm fine with anything. My idol has the final say. Although Yin Xian was disappointed that he wouldn't be able to race today, he nodded obediently. I'm fine with anything too. He hadn't expected that Lin Yan would be able to recruit the former captain of Team Fire. No wonder she had been so confident that she would be able to learn something here. Lin Yan replied. All right, it's settled then. Grandfather, let's talk another day. Chapter 467. It was late at night by the time Lin Yan returned to the villa. Worried that she might wake Pei Yuqing up, Lin Yan pushed the door open softly. She changed into slippers and walked out of the room. She saw a dim lamp in the living room. Under the gentle light, Pei Yuqing was leaning against the backrest. The man had removed his glasses and placed them on a pile of documents. His eyes were half closed, as though he had fallen asleep. Lin Yan hadn't expected Pei Yuqing to be in the living room at this hour. Instinctively, she breathed more softly. Why wasn't Pei Yuqing asleep? If he was working, why didn't he go to the study? Pei Yuqing didn't seem to be in a deep sleep. The moment Lin Yan approached him, he opened his eyes slowly. The man looked a little dazed. When his eyes landed on Lin Yan, he gradually regained his focus. He picked up his glasses and put them on. You're back. Lin Yan nodded. I had to discuss something with grandfather today, so I came back late. Did I disturb you? Ever since Lin Yan had said that he was in her heart, Pei Yuqing hadn't objected to her addressing him as sir. Pei Yuqing pinched his eyebrows and stood up. Are you hungry? I saved some food for you. Lin Yan's heart skipped a beat as she swallowed her saliva. Thank you, Mr. Pei, but it's okay. I've eaten tonight. Besides, you know that we have to maintain our figures, so we can't eat too much. Pei Yuqing didn't insist. Okay, rest early. Lin Yan nodded furiously. Okay. You too, Mr. Pei. Lin Yan asked casually. Mr. Pei, were you working earlier? Yeah. Why? Asked Pei Yuqing. Lin Yan scratched her head. Nothing. I just found it strange. Are you used to working in the living room? Besides, it's already so late. Why didn't you go to the study? Sitting in the study would be more comfortable than sitting on the sofa, right? She remembered that this wasn't the first time she had seen Pei Yuqing working on the sofa in the living room. It was already so late, yet he was still in the living room. Lin Yin couldn't help but feel puzzled. Pei Yuqing raised his eyebrows when he heard the girl. Miss Lin, you really don't know? Ah. Lin Yin blinked in confusion. Should I know? How did she know? She didn't understand his logic. Pei Yuqing noticed that the girl looked lost and confused. Helplessness flitted across his eyes as he gazed at the girl intently. Miss Lin, I'm waiting for you. I was waiting for you. Lin Yin blinked her eyes repeatedly. It took her a long time to comprehend what he meant. Did he mean that he was working in the living room because he was waiting for her to come home? Before Lin Yin could snap out of her daze, the man added, I'm working in the living room not because I'm used to it, but because I can see you more often. Lin Yin was speechless. Pei Yuqing's words couldn't be more direct. If Lin Yin still couldn't understand, she wouldn't be a straight girl. She would be retarded. When Pei Yuqing realized that the girl had finally understood him, a satisfied smile appeared on his face. Chapter 468. Miss Lin, do you understand what I'm saying? Pei Yuqing asked patiently. Lin Yin was so embarrassed that she wished she could find a hole to hide in. She nodded her head furiously. She got it. Stop mocking her EQ. Why was this man able to say such things without even blushing, or having his heart skip a beat? He was indeed a boss. Pei Yuqing stopped abruptly and said, Rest early. Lin Yin heaved a sigh of relief and replied hastily, Okay. Pei Yuqing strode over to the girl and planted a gentle kiss on her forehead. Good night. Lin Yin replied, Good night. Lin Yin stood rooted to the ground in a daze even after Pei Yuqing had entered the bedroom. During the time she had been staying with Pei Yuqing, other than the day when he had suddenly gone berserk, everything had been peaceful and harmonious. She had gradually realized that as long as she didn't cross Pei Yuqing's bottom line, he could be very patient and gentle. Usually, they would be busy with their own things, and they would get along very well. However, after a few lessons, Lin Yin had a deep understanding of Pei Yuqing's dangerous side. Hence, she didn't dare to let her guard down just because they seemed harmonious on the surface. This was also the reason why she hadn't found a good time to agree to Xing Chen's request. Lin Yan's head throbbed as she went back to her room. Suddenly, her WeChat notification rang. She had been added to a group chat. The person who had added her was Xing Chen. She didn't use QQ often, so she had given her WeChat to Xing Chen. Of course, another reason was that she really didn't want to see Xing Chen's signature again. There was another person in the group chat. That person's ID was celebrating the new year joyfully. Misty City amid the setting sun typed. Lin Yin sent a question mark over. Celebrating the new year joyfully typed. Sister-in-law. I'm Qin Huan. Sister-in-law, your WeChat ID is so nice. It's so classy. Lin Yin was speechless. This ID was also bloody tears. She didn't want to mention it. Xing Chen. Miss Lin, do you know the progress of that matter? Lin Yin sighed and replied, I haven't found a suitable opportunity yet. I really don't know how to cheer Mr. Pei up, Xing Chen. I understand. It's okay. I can wait. I've waited for so long anyway. Celebrate the new year happily. Sister-in-law. How could there not be a suitable opportunity? There were too many opportunities. For example, after you hold Brother Yu's hand. For example, after you kissed and hugged Brother Yu. For example, when you lie down with Brother Yu and watch the stars and the moon at night and discuss life philosophy. Lin Yin was speechless. That was enough. Lin Yin replied speechlessly. I won't have such a chance. Thank you. Her interaction with Pei Yuqing had always been courteous and respectful. At most, they would kiss each other on the forehead every morning and night. On the other end of the phone, Qin Huan sent a voice message. No way, sister-in-law. Your progress is too slow. What era are you people from? You've been dating for so long, yet you're still moving at such a snail's pace? If you really don't know how to do it, we can teach you. Lin Yin replied decisively. Who said that I don't know how to do it? It's not like I haven't dated before. I'm experienced, all right? Chapter 469. Lin Yin chatted with them angrily for a while before she put down her phone and fell into deep thought. Was she really that bad at dating? That couldn't be. Lin Yin turned on her laptop and typed. What should I do in a relationship? How can I make my boyfriend happy? How can I make him agree to my request? There were all sorts of answers online, and Lin Yan's head was spinning. She wanted to eat ice cream together, drink with 2 straws, put her hand in his pocket in winter, use a couple's profile picture, wear couple's clothes, take a walk together after dinner, ride the merry-go-round at the amusement park, shave his beard, take him out for spicy soup, and attend a concert together. Damn it. It was just a relationship. Why did she have to do so many things? What was the point of doing these boring things together? They might as well go for a race. This guy didn't make sense at all. Lin Yin sighed as she read on. Life was really unpredictable. A few months ago, she had been searching for ways to break up with her boyfriend. Now, she was searching for ways to fall in love with her boyfriend. Lin Yan's stomach growled as she read on. It had been a long time since dinner, and her body was drained. She was famished, but she wouldn't dare eat the food that Pei Yuqing had left for her. Fortunately, she had a lot of snacks. Lin Yin took out some chocolates, candies, crispy noodles, and spicy snacks from the drawer. As she ate, she took out a notebook to jot down her findings. His earnestness was comparable to when she had been cramming for her acting lessons back then. It was almost midnight when Lin Yin put down her pen and got ready to go to bed. Lin Yin took a shower and changed into a set of clean pajamas. Then, she sat down at her desk to sort out her homework for the day before going to bed. She was sorting out her notebook when she suddenly felt a little dizzy. It was as though a strange force had penetrated the wall and was attacking her. What was going on? Was she too tired? Was she so tired that she felt dizzy? No, that's not right. This feeling is a little overwhelming, and it's extremely familiar. Oh no. It was that pervert. Lin Yin clutched her head and hurriedly reached for the peachwood sword. However, before she could move, her vision turned black, and she lost consciousness. When Lin Yin opened her eyes again, they were clear and bright. She didn't look tired at all. That pair of cold eyes seemed to be devoid of any human emotions. A few minutes ago, Pei Yuqing had been leaning against the headboard, ready to fall asleep. Of course, sleep did not go so smoothly. No matter how calm he appeared, he couldn't lie to himself. Just like now, his consciousness had finally broken through his shackles and entered Lin Yan's body once again. Pei Yuqing was used to this, so he remained calm this time. However, in the very next moment, his gaze turned completely chaotic. Chapter 470. No matter how composed Pei Yuqing was, he hadn't expected to encounter such a scene when his consciousness had transmigrated. Pei Yuqing cursed under his breath as he grabbed a coat from the rack and put it on. He covered Lin Yan's body tightly. Only after doing all this did his breathing return to normal. However, the girl's face was rosy and her hair was slightly damp. She had just showered, so he could see her in the mirror. Pei Yuqing flipped the mirror upside down. If this were to continue, he would probably do something shameful to himself. Out of habit, Pei Yuqing instinctively wanted to smoke. However, he remembered that he was in Lin Yan's body, so he gave up. He glanced at the colorful bags of snacks on the table and instinctively reached out to pick up a piece of chocolate. Pei Yuqing recalled the girl saying that she wasn't hungry after eating. Hadn't she said that she wasn't hungry? However, girls seem to like snacks. Was it really that delicious? He had been born without a sense of taste, so he had never understood the passion humans had for food. Pei Yuqing opened the bag of chocolate casually and tore off a small piece before putting it into his mouth. When the sweet chocolate melted in his mouth, Pei Yuqing froze in a daze. It had just been a casual action, but he had never imagined that he would have a taste for the first time. Because he didn't have a sense of taste, everything tasted like wax to him. However, he was experiencing something that he had never experienced before through Lin Yan's body. He had almost forgotten that he was using Lin Yan's body. This was an unexpected gain. So this was the taste of sweetness? Indeed, it tasted the same as hers. He tried all the snacks that Lin Yan had placed on the table with the intention of researching them. Pei Yuqing's eyes scanned the room and landed on Lin Yan's laptop and computer screen. Pei Yuqing glanced at Lin Yan's search history. What should one do when they were in a relationship? How should one make their boyfriend happy? How should one make her boyfriend agree to her request? Pei Yuqing raised an eyebrow, as though he was surprised. He had thought that she would search for how to break up with her boyfriend. He hadn't expected that she would study these questions. Pei Yuqing naturally knew that there had to be a reason for Lin Yan's abnormal behavior. However, this wasn't important to him. He liked the result. Then, he noticed that Lin Yan had opened her notebook. She had listed 100 things that she should do with her boyfriend when she was in a relationship. Sharing an ice cream, drinking a drink with 2 straws, Winter putting her hand in his pocket, using a couple's head. If Lin Yan had been sober, she would have been stunned by her own beauty. How could she smile with such elegance, such beauty, and such an A? Lin Yan's notebook was filled with scribbles. She had even written comments in the margins. This is too boring. Who would be so bored as to run over to do such senseless things? What the hell is using 2 straws to drink the same beverage? Could it be some kind of magical ritual? Are people in love all so weird? What was the point? Simply speechless. I don't understand at all. Pei Yuqing couldn't help but chuckle as he tapped his fingers on the list of topics in love. It's okay if you don't understand. I'll teach you next time. Chapter 471. It's okay if you don't understand. I'll teach you next time. Pei Yuqing muttered softly. He picked up the girl's phone and used her fingerprint to unlock it. Then, he used Lin Yan's phone to send himself a message. Mr. Pei, are you free this weekend? I really want to go on a date with you. The next morning, when Lin Yan woke up, she realized that she was lying on the bed. She had just woken up, so she was still in a daze. When she recalled what had happened last night, she sat up abruptly. Oh no, her illness had acted up again last night. She couldn't have done something weird again, right? Lin Yan scrambled to her feet in a panic. She scanned the room anxiously to see if she could find any clues. Everything in the room was the same as it had been, except, where were all the snacks on the table? All that was left was a pile of plastic bags. Lin Yan stared at the snacks on the table in shock. She hadn't eaten much last night. How had she finished them all? Damn it. Did she eat all of this into her stomach? F***ck. She was going to die of obesity. What was going on? Had she become a glutton instead of causing trouble this time? Lin Yan checked again and realized that all the snacks had been eaten. Pei Yuqing and Pei Nanxu wouldn't enter her room casually, let alone sneak in to eat her snacks. Hence, there was only one possibility. She must have eaten the snacks. Lin Yan broke down at the thought of having to work hard to get rid of these calories. Oh yeah, Pei Yuqing. More importantly, had she done anything to Pei Yuqing? Lin Yan snuck out of the room to check on the situation. She had just walked out of the room when she heard a squeak. The door to the room next door had been pushed open. Pei Yuqing had walked out of the room. Hi, Mr. Pei. Good morning. Lin Yan, who had been peeking her head out of the room, hastily straightened her body and greeted him calmly. Good morning, Miss Lin. Pei Yuqing smiled. Lin Yan scrutinized Pei Yuqing's expression and didn't think anything was amiss. Nothing had happened, right? Lin Yan deliberated for a moment before she asked cautiously. Mr. Pei, did anything special happen last night? Pei Yuqing glanced at the girl calmly. What do you mean, Miss Lin? Lin Yan scratched her head. Don't worry. It's nothing. I'm just casually asking. Did I do anything strange last night? No, replied Pei Yuqing. Lin Yan heaved a sigh of relief when he added, Except? Except for what? Lin Yan's expression tightened. Pei Yuqing asked, Miss Lin, have you forgotten? Lin Yan was startled. Remember what? He replied. Miss Lin sent me a text in the middle of the night. Huh. Lin Yan's head throbbed as she whipped out her phone. F***CK. She knew it. She knew she was going to cause trouble. What did she send him in the middle of the night? Lin Yan clicked on the message page frantically. Indeed, she had sent Pei Yuqing a message last night. The text was, Mr. Pei, are you free this weekend? I want to go on a date with you. Lin Yan was speechless. Chapter 472. Lin Yan couldn't bear to look at the message. Looking at the cute wavy emoji at the end of the message, she was speechless. Was she really the one who had sent this mushy message? No. Believe. Pei Yuqing replied gently. I will spare some time for you on the weekend. Lin Yan's heart was filled with tears, but she pretended to be elated. Haha. Great. That's great. Damn it. This was insane. Could it be that these were her true thoughts in the depths of her heart? That was impossible. With a heavy heart, Lin Yan arrived at the He family mansion at the appointed time. Mo Shuyan and Yin Xian were there too. The old master, He Dingquan, stood outside the door to welcome them. You're early today. Lin Yan had just gotten out of the car when she saw Mo Shuyan and He Dingquan chatting. Idol, it's a blessing to join the He family team. I get to see you every day. Mo Shuyan's eyes trailed to Lin Yan as he grinned. Sister. Yin Xian glanced at Lin Yan. Xiaoyan, everyone is here. Let's talk inside, said the old master. Lin Yan and the others didn't say anything else as they entered the He family's mansion. Today, they didn't see any of the other team members. Only He Xiong, He Lufeng, and He Xiong were there. He Xiong and his son's faces darkened when they saw Mo Shuyan. They hadn't expected that Lin Yan would find an expert to join the He family team in such a short period of time. That night's test was enough to prove the situation. No matter how displeased He Xiong and He Mingkai were, they couldn't say anything else about it. Hello, Captain Mo. He Lufeng got up immediately and greeted Mo Shuyan. This is my cousin He Lufeng. Lin Yan introduced him to Mo Shuyan. Mo Shuyan nodded and glanced at He Lufeng. Brother Lufeng, your cousin Miss Lin Yan often talks about you. She says that your racing skills are terrible. Everyone, including Lin Yan, was taken aback when they heard Mo Shuyan. Wasn't Mo Shuyan being a little too direct? Although He Lufeng's racing skills were terrible, his attitude was good, and he had a clear understanding of himself. Although there were many shortcomings, the advantages couldn't be covered up. He Lufeng glanced awkwardly at Lin Yan before he turned to Mo Shuyan. Sister Yan, you're right. My racing skills are terrible. If the team hadn't belonged to my family, I wouldn't have become a professional racer. I want to learn from you, Captain. Mo Shuyan chuckled softly. Brother Lufeng, you have to work hard. Since I'm the captain of the He family team, I have to take responsibility. I told your cousin that I will personally train you, but if you can't satisfy me, I won't let you compete. He Lufeng's eyes lit up when he heard Mo Shuyan. Captain, you're training me personally. That's great. Don't worry, Captain. I will definitely work hard. Captain? He Mingkai sneered coldly. I am the captain of the He family team. Even if you enter the He family team, you will only be a vice-captain. Oh, vice-captain? Mo Shuyan glanced at Lin Yan and asked, Idol, what is your relationship with this gangster of the He family team? Chapter 473. Relationship? Lin Yan mulled it over before replying. I don't think so. Who are you calling a hooligan? He Xiong's expression darkened as He Mingkai shot to his feet and glared at Mo Shuyan. Sorry, I made a mistake. Mo Shuyan grinned at He Mingkai. You're not a hooligan. You can't even be considered a hooligan in the He family team. A hooligan might not be of much use, but at least he won't be a burden. You and the others who raced with me last night will be a burden to the He family team. Dad, this man is too arrogant and rude. How can we allow such a person to become the captain of the He family team? He Xiong glanced at He Dinkuan and hissed coldly. Grandpa, Dad is right. So what if he is capable? If he joins the He family team, the He family team will fall apart. He Mingkai chimed in eagerly. Before He Dinkuan could respond, Lin Yin interjected. The He family will collapse because of your presence. He Mingkai and He Xiong were infuriated by Lin Yan's words. He Xiong bellowed. You have no right to speak here. She has no right to speak here. Do you think you have the right to speak? Mo Shuyan sneered at He Xiong. Before He Xiong could respond, Mo Shuyan added. Who do you think you are? You haven't even joined the He family team yet. Even if you did, you would still be under my jurisdiction. Mo Shuyan glared at He Xiong as though he was an idiot. Are you talking to a shareholder of the He family? A shareholder of the He family? He Xiong and He Dinkuan were taken aback by Mo Shuyan's words. Do you want to invest? He Dinkuan glanced at Mo Shuyan. Mo Shuyan grinned at He Dinkuan. Old master, your granddaughter and I have already discussed this. Besides being the captain of the He family team, I will also invest in the He family. I don't want too many shares. 20% will do. Lin Yin glanced at Mo Shuyan. Hadn't they agreed on 10%? Why was it 20% now? I will be the captain of the He family team, and won't need a single cent. I will also be in charge of managing the track, and the members of the team. I will also invest in the team, replied Mo Shuyan. Old Master He Dinkuan's eyes roamed over to Lin Yin, looking astonished and incredulous. Even if Mo Shuyan hadn't been aware of the He family's situation at the beginning, he would have been able to investigate it easily if he had been more careful. Currently, the He family team was on the verge of disbanding, and the pressure from the outside world was immense. Furthermore, the scandal of rigging was imminent. If that happened, the He family team might not be able to survive. Mo Shuyan, a capable racer and former captain of a famous team, had joined the He family team, and even planned to invest in it? To He Dinkuan, this was unimaginable. Grandfather, Shuyan and I made a deal. Lin Yin explained to He Dinkuan. The He family team doesn't seem to be doing well. Are you really going to invest? And you want 20%? He Dinkuan glanced at Mo Shuyan in astonishment. Old master, you don't have to worry about this for me. Investing is my own business. If I make a profit, everyone will be happy. If I make a loss, I won't have any regrets. I only invested 20% of the shares, because I like the potential of the He family team. For a better reading experience, please browse to the website for a better reading experience. Chapter 474. Mo Shuyan paused before he added. Of course, old master, you're the boss of the He family team. Whether I can invest or not depends on you. Old master, please give me a clear answer. Can I invest or not? Of course. He Dinkuan replied hastily. Shuyan, based on your abilities and connections, as well as my years of experience and connections, I believe that we will be a strong team. Mo Shuyan grinned. This old man didn't forget to compliment him as well. All right, old master. It's settled then. I will invest 20% of the He family team's shares. In the future, I can consider investing more. Perhaps I can bring my friends along with me. However, I have one condition. I can't use these people anymore. You should be aware of the He family team's situation. Mo Shuyan replied. What did you say? He Xiong glared at Mo Shuyan and gritted his teeth. Haha. Mo Shuyan glanced at He Xiong and chuckled softly. I've heard about you from Miss Lin Yin. All these years, your son has been the captain of the He family team, while you've been the manager. However, the facts have proven that you and your son aren't suited for this job. I'm a straightforward person, So I hope you can understand that I don't have any ill intentions when I say that you're parasites of the He family team. He Dinkuan's expression darkened. No matter what, He Xiong was his son, and He Mingkai was his grandson. However, the problem that Mo Shuyan had pointed out was real. He Mingkai's driving skills could only qualify him as an ordinary member of a beginner team at best. He Xiong, on the other hand, had been appointed to manage the He family team because he was his son. Grandfather, since Mo Shuyan has invested in the team, let him be the team's captain and manager. After all, he has been the captain of a big team before. He is experienced in management, Lin Yan chimed in. Lin Yan. Suddenly, He Mingkai glared at Lin Yan. You're an ingrate. You brought people to harm us. Are you trying to destroy the He family team? Bastard. I knew you didn't have any good intentions. He Xiong also said angrily. Mo Shuyan shrugged nonchalantly. If you say that, I don't mind not being the captain or investing in the team. I don't want to hurt the He family team. Shut up. He Dinkuan frowned when he saw that He Xiong and He Mingkai were about to say something. How could Lin Yan possibly want to harm the He family team? They had poached the captain of a big team, and the captain would join the He family team for free. Not only would he not be paid, but he would also be able to invest in the team. This was a joyous occasion for the He family team. He Dinkuan knew the truth better than anyone else. He Xiong and He Mingkai were behaving this way because Mo Shuju's sudden entry had threatened their status. Naturally, they didn't want Mo Shuju to join the He family team. He Dinkuan knew better than anyone who was truly selfish. Mingkai, you will listen to Mo Shuyan from now on. He Xiong, you will be in charge of the logistics. He Dinkuan said expressionlessly. Dad. Grandfather. Didn't I make myself clear? He Dinkuan slammed his walking stick against the ground. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit IAI. Chapter 475. He Mingkai and He Xiong knew that the old master was about to lose his temper, so they didn't dare show it. You're He Mingkai, right? As the old master's grandson, I can allow you to stay with the He family team. However, my training will be very strict and tough. If you can't meet the standards or drag the He family team down, I'm sorry, but I don't care who you are or what your status is. You have to pack your things and scram. I'm very direct, and I don't have any ill intentions. You won't blame me, right? Mo Shuyan grinned at him. After hearing Mo Shuyan's words, He Mingkai said coldly, You want to train me? If it weren't for the old master and Miss Lin Yan, I wouldn't have trained a good-for-nothing like you. Mo Shuyan grinned. Who are you calling a good-for-nothing? He Xiong's forehead throbbed with rage. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not a good-for-nothing. I'm just an arrogant person who doesn't know his place. Mo Shuyan corrected himself. Brother Kai, Captain Mo is more than qualified to train us. If it weren't for Sister Yin and Grandfather, I don't think Captain Mo would be willing to teach us, even if we offered a huge sum of money. He Lufeng glanced at He Mingkai with a frown. Look at him. Look at him. He's so sensible and eloquent. They both share the same surname. Why is there such a huge gap between us? Mo Shuyan eyed He Lufeng intently. Your father must have taught you well. He Xiong glared at Mo Shuyan. He had said that He Lufeng's father had taught He Lufeng well. Did he mean that He Mingkai hadn't been taught well? Old master, I'm a straightforward person, but I don't have any ill intentions. I'm doing this for the good of the He family team. Hence, I don't care about family ties. Old master, I believe you can understand me. Mo Shuyan glanced at He Dinkuan. He Dinkuan nodded and replied, I understand. It's fine. Actually, you're right. The He family team should follow the rules. Nothing can be accomplished without them. I believe you've heard what the old man said. He Mingkai and He Xiong, you two can go back to work. I'll look for you if there's anything I need from the team. It's not appropriate for you to stay here, Mo Shuyan said. A high-level discussion? What high-level discussion? He Xiong said coldly. You can leave now, He Dinkuan said before Mo Shuyan could respond. Since He Dinkuan had spoken, He Mingkai and He Xiong couldn't say anything else, so they left sullenly. After He Xiong and his son left, He Dinkuan prepared an investment contract. Mo Shuyan didn't say anything and signed his name on the contract. As for the trivial matters after the investment, he wasn't in a hurry to deal with them. My idle old master, let Yunxian and Lufeng test drive the car, Mo Shuyan said after a while. The old master was well aware of He Lufeng's capabilities. However, He Dinkuan wasn't confident about Yunxian. The boy that Lin Yan had brought home was quiet and refined. His personality didn't seem suitable for driving fast. Of course, Yunxian's driving skills had to be tested on the track first. Test the car now, asked He Lufeng. What else? Next year? Quipped Mo Shuyan. He Lufeng was speechless. Chapter 476. Captain, I'm fine with it. I can do it anytime. He Lufeng nodded. I'm fine with it too. Yunxian chimed in softly. Lin Yan glanced at Yunxian, who had been standing next to her. If Mo Shuyan hadn't mentioned him, he would have forgotten about Yunxian's existence. This boy didn't have much of a presence. If it hadn't been for his unique aura and outstanding looks, he wouldn't have stood out in the crowd. All right, let's go and try. I want to see how good brother Yunxian is. He Dinkuan grinned. Yunxian seemed a little nervous when he heard He Dinkuan. Lin Yan patted Yunxian's shoulder gently to calm him down. Mo Shuyan drove them to the He family's training ground in the suburbs. When they arrived, Mo Shuyan said, You guys can pick your own car and get ready. Let me know when you're ready. Captain Mo, are you going to run? Asked He Lufeng. Why would I run? I'll watch you guys run. Mo Shuyan sighed heavily. He didn't think this kid was smart. All right, Captain. I'll do my best. He Lufeng turned around to get ready. Good attitude. Mo Shuyan nodded at He Lufeng after he left. He Minkai was the scariest. He didn't have any skills, but he was arrogant and didn't know his own limits. If this kind of person didn't know his limits, he wouldn't be able to improve his driving skills much in this lifetime. On the other hand, although He Lufeng's driving skills were terrible, he had the right attitude and knew his place. Hence, he had a lot of room for improvement. Yunxian, aren't you going to pick a car? Lin Yan asked curiously when she noticed Yunxian standing beside her. Sister. Yunxian gazed at Lin Yan and said softly, When we came here that night, I observed all the cars. Other than He Minkai's car, the rest are all the same. So, I'm fine with anything. Lin Yan nodded. She hadn't expected Yunxian to be so meticulous. He had memorized every detail on the first night he had arrived at the He family team's training ground. After about a quarter of an hour, Yunxian and He Lufeng were ready. He Lufeng was using He Minkai's car, while Yunxian was using a random car. Ready? He Dinkuan asked. Grandpa, okay? He Lufeng said. Anytime, Yunxian said. Hold on. Lin Yan strode forward and opened the door to Yunxian's car. I'll follow the car, replied Lin Yan. Sister, you will puke if I drive too fast. Yunxian reminded Lin Yan. Lin Yan was speechless. She wouldn't throw up even if she were to drive a rocket, a submarine, or a tractor, let alone a race car. I'm fine, replied Lin Yan. Then, big sister, can I drive a little slower? Yunxian continued. Don't. Lin Yan shook her head furiously. Give it your all and drive as fast as you normally would. Don't deliberately slow down, but don't force yourself to go too fast either. I want you to be at your usual speed. Do you understand? Okay. Big sister, I understand. Yunxian answered obediently. Sister Yin, you can't do this. As Lin Yin got into Yunxian's car, He Lufeng couldn't stand it any longer. He rolled down the window and hissed, Sister Yin, if you want to get in, you should get in my car. You're my brother, all right? Why are you so biased? No way. How can I compete with him if you get in Yunxian's car? Hurry up and come over. Didn't we have a good time working together? Chapter 477. Lin Yan was dumbfounded when she heard He Lufeng. Had she enjoyed working with him? She had been He Lufeng's navigator during the He family's life and death competition. She had almost fainted because of He Lufeng. But he had actually thought that it had been fun. Wasn't he the one who had been happy? I refuse. Lin Yin rejected him immediately. I know how good you are. Don't worry. I won't say a word in Yun Xian's car. I just want to see how Yun Xian is doing. You should focus on your own. He Lufeng looked as though his heart had been broken by Lin Yan's ruthless rejection. He mumbled something under his breath and wound up the window. Do you want to familiarize yourself with the car? Lin Yin glanced at Yun Xian. Yun Xian's eyes darted around furiously. After a few seconds he replied, Sister, there's no need. I'm already familiar with it. When I was in school, I often rented this kind of car. All the best. Lin Yin nodded. He Lufeng and Yun Xian's car sped away at the same time as the old master waved the flag. Lin Yan's eyes darted to Yun Xian from time to time as the car sped away. Initially, Yun Xian didn't look any different. However, as time passed, Lin Yin realized that Yun Xian seemed different. There was a hint of madness in his eyes as he overtook He Lufeng's car. The corners of his mouth curled up into an arrogant smile. He's too weak. Yun Xian's lips curled up as he spoke casually. Whoosh! Not long after Yun Xian finished speaking, the car he was driving completed the first lap. He Lufeng was hot on his heels. He Lufeng's car was better than Yun Xian's. Logically speaking, he shouldn't be slower than Yun Xian. However, it was reasonable that He Lufeng couldn't catch up to Yun Xian. Yun Xian had been meticulous in every detail, be it the condition of the training track, the way he had handled the sharp bends, or the obstacles on the ground. If these details weren't handled well, the difference would be like heaven and earth. If he was slower by a few seconds, he wouldn't even be able to catch the exhaust. He Lufeng and Yun Xian had handled the track so well that He Lufeng wouldn't even be able to catch the exhaust from Yun Xian's car. After a few obstacles and bends, He Lufeng was at least 5 seconds slower than Yun Xian. These 5 seconds were like heaven and earth. Lin Yin studied Yun Xian carefully. The passion in Yun Xian's eyes was more obvious than before. He seemed to have entered a state of forgetfulness, and all he could see was the racetrack. Every time he tackled an obstacle or a curve, it was as though he had gone through thousands of training sessions. However, this was the first time Yun Xian was training on the He family team's training ground. Yun Xian gave Lin Yin the impression that he resembled one of her disciples, the racetrack butcher. He was similar to Yun Xian when he was driving and his driving style. The only difference was that his apprentice wasn't as quiet as Yun Xian. He wasn't obedient either. Other than his master, Yeva, he disliked everyone else and didn't respect anyone. He didn't even care about his apprentices. He was the most unpopular one among Lin Yan's apprentices. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit II. Chapter 478. A moment later, the car that Yun Xian was driving stopped at the finish line. Lin Yin snapped out of her daze and glanced at Yun Xian. Why didn't you drive to the finish line? The passion and arrogance in Yun Xian's eyes had disappeared, and he had returned to his usual obedient self. He said hesitantly, Big sister, should I wait for Lufeng? I'm so much faster than him, isn't that bad? Lin Yin was speechless. What the F***ck? Her disciples had waited at the finish line to humiliate their opponents, while Yun Xian had waited for them at the finish line to take care of their opponents. There's no need. Lin Yin sighed helplessly. He is used to being humiliated. All right then. Finally, Yun Xian drove to the finish line after Lin Yan's persuasion. After about 3 minutes, He Lufeng caught up with them. Oh my god. Why? I didn't see any amazing techniques. Why are you so much faster than me? Could it be that my car's performance isn't as good as yours? He Lufeng stared at Yun Xian, who was chatting with Lin Yin, He Dingquan, and the others. He was stunned. Sorry, I don't know either. I just think that you're too slow. Yun Xian raised his head and explained softly to He Lufeng. He Lufeng wanted to cry, but no tears came out. Was he that slow? Actually, just as He Lufeng had said, Yun Xian hadn't shown any special techniques on the track. He had even taken the corners normally. However, because of his handling of the details, Yun Xian had been much faster than He Lifeng. It's normal that you're slower than him. Mo Xian's eyes trailed to He Lifeng. Your handling of the obstacles is worlds apart from Yun Xian's. You wouldn't be able to beat him even if there were 10 of you. Huh? My handling of the obstacles? He Lifeng was dumbfounded. Hadn't he handled them well? However, Yun Xian, you've surprised me. You have great potential. Mo Xian re-evaluated Yun Xian. Thank you, Captain. I'm still lacking compared to you. I hope to learn from you. I want to improve, Yun Xian said softly. Ha ha ha, that's too nice of you. Don't worry, I'll guide you well. Yun Xian, you've passed my test, Mo Xian said. Not bad. You ran really well. None of the previous members of the He family team could compare to you, Yun Xian. Given your situation, it wouldn't be a problem for you to join an intermediate team, He Dinkuan commented. This boy called Yun Xian had indeed given him a great surprise. Old man, you're underestimating Yun Xian. If Yun Xian were to undergo professional training, he would be better than the average racer of a first-rate team, Mo Xian said, giving Yun Xian high praise. F***CK. Brother Yin, how did you run? Teach me. He Lifeng ran to Yun Xian excitedly. You're amazing. Thank you. I myself also need to learn. There are still many things I need to do. Let's work hard together, Yun Xian said softly. Let's put training aside for now. We are the only few members of the He family team right now. I've told everyone else to get lost. We have to recruit new racers. Yun Xian, are there any young racers who are good at running? Mo Xian asked. Yun Xian mulled it over for a moment before replying slowly. It seems like they aren't doing very well. Forget it. Let me handle this. When we find more racers to join the He family team, I'll train with all of you, Mo Xian replied. Update is over. It's the last 2 days of the month. I'm begging for monthly votes and recommendation votes. I'm going to compile the list of winners for the canvas bags. P.S. Dear babies, the story of Gong Xiaoqiao and Gu Xingshan that you've been waiting for is finally here. It's published as a gentleman's dilemma. The first 800 people will receive an autographed postcard, a Chow hairpin and a bookmark. The official pre-sale address is Tmall's Dezhou bookstore. Chapter 479. He Dinkuan heaved a sigh of relief when he heard Mo Xian. The He family team had been reshuffled. The members of the previous He family team would be dealt with in the next few days. They would be the only ones left in the He family team. Finding more racers and navigators was their top priority now. Shuyan, about the salary. He Dinkuan's eyes landed on Mo Xian once more. Although he found it difficult to speak, he had to explain the He family's current predicament. Even though the previous He family team members hadn't been talented, and had been slackers just like Mo Xian had said, their salaries weren't that high, so it was still acceptable. If Mo Xian were to recruit talented racers, the salary would be a huge problem. The He family team wouldn't be able to afford the salary of a mid-tier racer, even if they were asked to pay a mid-tier racer. Mo Xian immediately understood what He Dinkuan was talking about. He smiled and said, Old master, to put it bluntly, I'm afraid it's unrealistic to think of poaching racers based on salary alone. No matter how high the salary is, I don't think we'll be able to find anyone. Then, He Dinkuan was taken aback. If Mo Xian couldn't recruit talented racers based on the salary, what could they rely on? Of course, He Dinkuan could understand Mo Xian's words. It was indeed difficult for the He family team to recruit talented racers and navigators based on the salary alone. We can rely on potential, Mo Xian replied softly. Only racers with sufficient potential and ability would choose to join the He family team. I believe that if the He family team has a captain, we will be able to attract talented racers, Yun Xian whispered softly. Mo Xian grinned and didn't say anything else. To put it bluntly, he had been interested in the He family team's potential. That was why he had agreed to become the captain and invest in the team. Mo Shuyan believed that, given Lin Yan's abilities, as long as she didn't abandon the He family team, the He family team would shine one day. After leaving the He family mansion, Lin Yan wanted to return to Cloud Manor. However, Pei Yutong suddenly sent her a text message. Sister-in-law, where's the present? Where's the present? Are you ready? We're almost out of time. Lin Yan fell into deep thought as she read his message. He immediately replied. Falling rain, setting sun. I'm looking. Wishing big brother and sister-in-law a happy marriage. Sister-in-law, this time it's all up to you. The gift must be big, heavy, and have a sense of quality. It's best to add a little more meaning, so that it's different from others. Lin Yan furrowed her eyebrows. This kid was really demanding. However, since he had made such a request, she would naturally try her best to satisfy him. Lin Yan walked into a shop. Century Watch shop. The boss was a middle-aged man who was sitting behind the counter, wiping an old watch. Boss. Lin Yan glanced at the owner with a smile. The owner raised his head and glanced at Lin Yan. Welcome. How can I help you? I want to buy a big clock, replied Lin Yan. Yes. The boss stood up and walked out of the counter. He pointed at a row of seemingly old clocks in front of the door and said, These are all old goods. Miss, why are you buying clocks? Lin Yan grinned. It's a gift. Chapter 480. The owner of the watch shop stared at Lin Yan in confusion. Had he heard wrongly? Was she buying a clock as a gift? Isn't that like giving someone a bell? Isn't it a homonym for sending someone off? Miss, wait, let me confirm. Are you buying a watch as a gift or a clock as a gift? The owner of the watch shop was a little uncertain. He had been in this business for years, but he had never heard or seen anyone giving a clock as a gift. A clock? You heard me right. I'm giving a clock, replied Lin Yan. The owner of the watch shop studied Lin Yan with a strange expression on his face. This young lady was impressive. She was a ruthless person. Then beauty. Do you have any requests? The owner of the watch shop continued to ask. Firstly, it has to be cheap. Secondly, it has to be big and heavy, replied Lin Yan. Then buy a new clock. Old clocks are considered toys and are very valuable, so they won't be cheap. A new clock will be cheaper, so the difference in price is huge, explained the owner. Then I'll buy a new clock. The cheapest one will do. Lin Yan grinned. After paying for the clock, the owner glanced at Lin Yan and asked, Beauty, do you need me to deliver it to you? Lin Yan pondered for a moment before she nodded. Boss, let's exchange contact details. I'll let you know when I deliver it. Sure. The owner agreed. Tell me the address and time. I'll get someone to deliver it to you on time. Pei Yutong had been waiting for her when she returned to Cloud Manor. Pei Yutong scuttled over to her when he saw her. Pei Yutong sat on the couch in the room. Sister-in-law, how was it? Have you settled the gift? Lin Yan nodded when she saw the anticipation on Pei Yutong's face. Don't worry. It's done. Is it big enough? Pei Yutong asked excitedly. Don't worry. It's definitely big enough. Lin Yan nodded. Is it heavy enough? Asked Pei Yutong. It's very heavy, replied Lin Yan. Does it have any connotation? Is it unique enough? The main reason is that it might be unique and artistic. If you give it to others, they will definitely look at you with sparkling eyes. Lin Yan looked serious. Pei Yutong looked puzzled. Sister-in-law, why do I feel like you're not reliable? Why? You don't believe me? Lin Yan frowned. No. I trust you very much. Now that you've said that, I know what to do. It's all thanks to you this time. Pei Yutong was all smiles. That's more like it. How many miles did I travel for your gift? Lin Yan rolled her eyes at him. Sister-in-law, you've worked hard. Where's the present? Show it to me. Pei Yutong eyed Lin Yan intently. Why are you in such a hurry? It has to be big and heavy. Am I supposed to carry it around with me? Quipped Lin Yan. Okay, sister-in-law. Tell me what you bought for me so that I can be mentally prepared. Why are you in such a hurry? You'll know when I send it to you. If I tell you now, I won't be surprised. Lin Yan grinned. Pei Yutong nodded solemnly. All right then. How much is the gift? I'll pay you. Lin Yan pondered for a moment before she grinned. There's no hurry. I haven't sent it yet. You can pay me after the banquet. Chapter 481. Oh yes, sister-in-law. Pei Yutong was about to leave when a thought struck him. He halted and turned around to look at Lin Yan. What's wrong? Asked Lin Yan. The top team in the country will be competing against Yeva tomorrow. Do you want to go? Asked Pei Yutong. Lin Yan nodded and replied. Sure, let's go and take a look. All right then. We'll go together tomorrow. Pei Yutong turned around and left. Shortly after Pei Yutong left, Godzi and the others texted Lin Yan at the same time, as though they had agreed on it. They informed Lin Yan that Yeva would be competing against the best team in the country at the race track in the capital city tomorrow morning. They had also invited Lin Yan to watch. Of course, Lin Yan wouldn't reject them. Besides, she had promised Pei Yutong that she would be there on time. She wanted to see just what kind of divine being that imposter was. Since she had the guts to compete against the best team in the country, it meant that her driving skills weren't bad. Otherwise, she wouldn't have had the guts to do so. Lin Yan was looking forward to the private dinner tomorrow. That night, Mo Shuyan created a group chat and added Lin Yan, Yun Xian, and He Lifeng. Cold-blooded boy typed, hello. Wind chasing general typed, cold-blooded boy? I'm Sunshine Boy. Who is this? Does this name belong to 20 years ago? Cold-blooded boy typed, I'm Mo Shuyan. Wind chasing general typed, oh, Captain Mo. That's a good name. I'm He Lifeng. Cold-blooded boy typed, your name isn't any better than mine. Yin Xian was speechless. Expert driver. Who the hell changed my group ID? Lin Yan stared at her phone with a dumbfounded expression on her face. Expert driver? Cold-blooded boy typed, idol. I changed it. Don't you like it? Without hesitation, Lin Yan changed her username back to her old one. Misty City amid the setting sun typed, don't change my name. Her name was a life-saving tool. How could she change it? Cold-blooded boy typed, alright idol. Got it. Yin Xian. The cold-blooded boy replied. Inform them that I'll be bringing 2 young warriors to the training ground tomorrow. He Lifeng and Yin Xian come over. We'll train together and build up our chemistry. Yin Xian. Yes, Captain. Windchaser exclaimed. Wow. You found 2 racers so quickly? How good are they? The cold-blooded boy. Definitely stronger than you. Young wind-chasing general. Misty City amid the setting sun. I might not have time tomorrow, so I'll have to trouble you for a while, Captain Mo. Let me finish what I have on hand first. Cold-blooded boy. Alright idol, I don't need you for the time being. When you have time, just come over and take a look at the newcomers. Once you find a few more, you can continue with the competition. Misty City amid the setting sun. Thank you for your hard work. Oh, by the way, there's another important matter. The cold-blooded boy. What is it, idol? Misty City amid the setting sun. Admin, send a red packet. Great luck. The cold-blooded boy. The next morning, Lin Yan woke up early, but there were thousands of messages on WeChat. Lin Yan was dumbfounded when she unlocked her phone. Mo Shuyan, He Lifeng, and the others had chatted the entire night, and had only ended half an hour ago. Misty City amid the setting sun. Aren't you guys going to the training ground today? She waited for a long time, but no one replied. The 3 of them had chatted the entire night, so they probably wouldn't wake up until nightfall. Chapter 482. Lin Yan felt a little helpless. Mo Shuyan was too unreliable. Sister-in-law, are you awake? Pei Yutong had just washed up when he yelled at the top of his lungs. Lin Yan opened the door and glanced at Pei Yutong, who was dressed like a gentleman. Stop shouting. Sister-in-law, aren't you going to dress up? We are going to meet Yeva. Pei Yutong couldn't help but speak up when he saw Lin Yan in her casual attire. Why? Do you have a problem with that? Lin Yin glanced at Pei Yutong expressionlessly. Am I not presentable? Pei Yutong shook his head furiously. How could that be? Sister-in-law, you look presentable no matter what. Simple but not simple. An hour later, Pei Yutong drove Lin Yin to a private arena in the suburbs of the capital city. Lin Yin scanned her surroundings and realized that there was no one around. Why isn't anyone here? Lin Yan's eyes darted to Pei Yutong in surprise. Of course. Pei Yutong grinned at Lin Yan. Sister-in-law, we agreed to meet at 9:30 p.m. It's only 7:30 p.m. Why would anyone be here? Lin Yan was startled when she heard Pei Yutong. Why was he here so early? You arrived 2 hours early? The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched as she stared at Pei Yutong. Sister-in-law, we are the first to arrive. That way, we will appear more important. Pei Yutong replied matter-of-factly. Lin Yan could only sigh helplessly. She wanted nothing more than to slap his smug face. Even if he was important, he had arrived 2 hours early. There was no one around. Who was he trying to show off? Lin Yan and Pei Yutong sat in the car and waited for more than an hour before people started to arrive. Miss Lin Yan, you're early. ZH1's Mumu got out of the car and walked to Lin Yan with a smile on his face. How could it be early? It was much earlier than he had expected. Where is your captain? Lin Yan asked curiously. Godzi was nowhere to be seen. He should be here soon, replied Mumu. The moment he said that, one of the cars stopped by the side of the road, and Almighty Z alighted. Miss Lin Yan. Godzi seemed to be in a good mood when he saw Lin Yan. Is there only you and Mumu and ZH1? Lin Yan asked curiously. Yes. Godzi nodded. Other than K1, the other teams only have 1 or 2 slots. The K1 team was currently the strongest team in the country. The imposter would be competing against the K1 team in today's friendly match. I didn't expect the racetrack's Grim Reaper to come to this country. Furthermore, we can see her. It's so surreal, Mumu exclaimed. Indeed. Godzi chuckled softly. The K1 team has put in a lot of effort to be able to compete with Yeva. It's a pity that they are all professionals, and there aren't any media outlets. Otherwise it would be sensational. Being able to compete with Yeva is enough for K1 to brag about for the rest of his life. Pei Yutong chimed in. It was a pity that his finances were being controlled. Otherwise, he could have sent his team to compete with Yeva. Now he could only watch from the sidelines. At this moment, a silver sports car drove over and stopped by the roadside. Wei Shufeng put on his sunglasses as he got out of the car. Wei Shufeng caught sight of Lin Yan the moment he got out of the car. Lin Yan, why are you here? Wei Shufeng hadn't expected Lin Yan to appear. He couldn't believe his eyes. Chapter 483. Lin Yan glanced at Wei Shufeng in confusion. After some time she replied, If you can come, why can't I? You. Wei Shufeng frowned, as though he wanted to say something. Before Wei Shufeng could say anything, Qi Xiaoyuan walked over slowly and pulled Wei Shufeng back. He shot him a meaningful look and said, Little Feng, you're meddling too much. It seems to me that you want to control everything. What does it have to do with you if they want to come or not? Wei Shufeng shook his head and glanced at Qi Xiaoyuan. I can understand the others, but Lin Yan, why do I need you to understand? Are you the host? Aren't we invited guests? Don't treat yourself like the host, Qi Xiaoyuan hissed. Wei Shufeng was speechless. Wei Shufeng couldn't refute Qi Xiaoyuan's words, as there was nothing wrong with that. However, Wei Shufeng was puzzled by the fact that the people who had been invited to meet Yeva were all reputable people in the industry. Logically speaking, Lin Yan shouldn't have the right to meet Yeva. No, she shouldn't even know that Yeva had come to the country. Wei Shufeng studied Lin Yan from time to time. What was wrong with this woman? Why did she appear wherever he went? First, she kept imitating his goddess. Now, she was attending her private banquet. Lin Yan didn't seem bothered by Wei Shufeng's gaze. It seemed like Qi Xiaoyuan had kept his promise and hadn't revealed anything. Otherwise, if Wei Shufeng had known that Yeva was an imposter, he would have blown things up. However, Judging from Wei Shufeng's behavior, he shouldn't have known. After a while, more and more people arrived. Anyone who was able to come here was a well-known figure in the circle, including Air Force's team and some of the top Chinese racing teams. Almost all of them had arrived. Lin Yan even spotted the WW team. However, WW's captain seemed embarrassed to see Lin Yan, so he pretended not to see her. Sister-in-law, I'm so excited. I will be able to see Yeva race with my own eyes. This is so exciting. Pei Yutong gazed at Lin Yan excitedly. You're excited already? Lin Yan glanced at Pei Yutong. She was afraid that his heart wouldn't be able to take it. Sister-in-law, there's a private dinner tonight. Have you settled the gift? Pei Yutong asked again. Don't worry. Everything is ready. The gifts will be delivered to you during the banquet. Lin Yan glanced at him. Sister-in-law, I'm looking forward to it. Pei Yutong chuckled. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled up. Actually, I'm looking forward to it. Just as they were talking, a fleet of cars approached them from the front. Everyone was familiar with the leading team. It was K1, the top team from the Hua Nation that the racetrack's death god would be competing against. Behind the K1 fleet, there was a huge nanny van, surrounded by many security guards. F*CK. Yeva must be in that nanny van. Pei Yutong craned his neck and blurted out anxiously. Dear readers, the list of winners for the 50 canvas bags has been posted in the book review section. Everyone, please remember to collect your prizes in the group chat within the next 7 days. It's almost November 1st. If there are any babies who haven't cast their monthly votes, please do so now. Otherwise, it will be invalid next month. The active ranking will end at 2350 today, in case the data is delayed. Chapter 484. Even without Pei Yutong's reminder, Lin Yan knew that the imposter was in the van. However, why would the security guards around the van be an insult to Yeva? She was the strongest security guard, so she could fight against 10 people easily. Why would she need someone else to protect her? Wasn't this a little too much? Other than the security guards, the K1 guards were more like Yeva's personal bodyguards. Their bootlicking skills were amazing. Wei Shufeng, who had been sitting by the side, jumped to his feet when he saw the van approaching. He had a complicated expression on his face as he watched the van. He was a little agitated and nervous. Are you nervous? Wei Shufeng's eyes trailed to Qi Xiaoyuan. Qi Xiaoyuan seemed distracted as he kept looking in Lin Yan's direction. He only snapped back to his senses when Wei Shufeng called his name for the 3rd time. What's wrong? Qi Xiaoyuan asked curiously. We're about to meet boss. Are you nervous? Asked Wei Shufeng. Qi Xiaoyuan sneered coldly and replied. What's there to be nervous about? I'm not nervous at all. Wei Shufeng was taken aback. Qi Xiaoyuan seemed to have changed. In the past, he had never behaved like this when he mentioned Yeva. Furthermore, he was about to meet her. Please give us some space. Don't crowd around. The K1 team members got out of the van and walked in front. One of the K1 team members spoke softly. Hearing this, the crowd immediately retreated to make way for the entire K1 team and the minivan behind them. K1's status in the country's racing industry was extremely high. Teams like ZH1 and WW had no choice but to retreat when they saw K1. Although they were both T1 teams, there was still a huge gap between them. There was almost no way to compare them. There were only a handful of teams in the country that could compete with the K1 racing team. There were 1 or 2 old freakish teams, but in recent years, there had been no competition. Hence, the K1 racing team was temporarily the #1 team in the country. There were 3 teams under the K1 team, and there were dozens of them. Other than the team members, the 3 captains were also present. It's rare to see all 3 captains of K1 appear at the same time, Pei Yutong remarked softly. Lin Yan glanced at him and replied, I'm not familiar. Pei Yutong, who was taken aback, exclaimed in disbelief. Sister-in-law, are you kidding me? Don't you know the top team in the country, K1? Lin Yan pondered for a moment before replying. I don't know, Pei Yutong. Sister-in-law, I wouldn't have believed that you knew how to race if I hadn't seen you with my own eyes. Pei Yutong sighed heavily. Sister-in-law, it doesn't matter. When I have the time, I will tell you more about the different teams in the country. Actually, although K1 is the top team, there are 2 other teams that are much stronger than K1. However, they haven't done anything in the past few years. I wonder what they are up to. Lin Yan didn't want to reject Pei Yutong's enthusiasm. However, she wasn't too interested in the national teams. November 1st is the start of a new month. I'm begging for a guaranteed monthly vote. Today, I'll pick one of the contestants and give you a Dior lipstick. Just get a monthly vote. Chapter 485. Sister-in-law, let me tell you something. Do you see that man with a buzz cut and a poker face? He is the captain of K1's Team 3. The other one is Blondie, the captain of K1's Team 2. The last one is a pretty girl who looks cold and aloof. She is the captain of K1's Team 1. Pei Yutong told Lin Yan. Lin Yan glanced at the K1 team and replied, "Oh, got it. Sister-in-law, the captain of K1's Team 1 is very good. I reckon that she is even better than you. She is one of the top female racers in the country," Pei Yutong quipped. Lin Yan glanced at Pei Yutong in confusion. "Why do you keep comparing me to her?" "Sister-in-law, of course I have to compare you to her. Firstly, the captain of K1 is one of the few female racers in the country. Coincidentally, you're also a woman, and you are very good at racing. Who else can I compare her to?" Pei Yutong replied matter-of-factly. "Why don't you compare her to Yeva?" quipped Lin Yan. Pei Yutong was taken aback by Lin Yan's words. He stared at Lin Yan in shock. "Who should I compare her to? Yeva? Sister-in-law, are you serious? This, as the saying goes, how can the light of a firefly compete with the brilliance of the moon? They are in 2 completely different worlds. There's no way to compare them. Although Yeva is also a lady, this isn't a matter of gender." Lin Yan tilted her head and glanced at Pei Yutong. Hence, the female captain of K1 couldn't possibly be compared to the racetrack's Grim Reaper. However, she could be compared to her, and was even better than her. This logic was really F***king strong. Madam Lin Yan. Before Pei Yutong could respond, Qi Xiaoyuan, who was standing not too far away, approached Lin Yan with a fawning smile on his face. "What are you doing?" Pei Yutong frowned and blocked Qi Xiaoyuan, who was about to get close to Lin Yan. "Why are you blocking me?" Qi Xiaoyuan asked curiously when he saw Pei Yutong standing in front of him. "Look at how perverted your smile is. If you have something to say, just say it. Don't force your way into it." Pei Yutong was annoyed. What kind of joke was this? Lin Yan was his sister-in-law. Pei Yutong was certain that the man before him was a shameless peach blossom. His big brother wasn't around, so he had the responsibility and obligation to help his big brother get rid of these peach blossoms. This was the best way for him to win his big brother's favor. "I'm boss. I mean Madam Lin Yan's friend," Qi Xiaoyuan explained. "Friend?" Qi Xiaoyuan looked at Qi Xiaoyuan in disdain. "All the more reason not to get close. Listen to me and move aside. Get up and move." Lin Yan pinched her temples and glanced at Pei Yutong. Pei Yutong stared at Qi Xiaoyuan sternly. "Did you hear that? Madam Lin Yan is asking you to get up. I'm talking about you." Lin Yan stood behind Pei Yutong and poked him with her finger. "Pei Yutong, you can't do that." "My brother isn't dead yet." Pei Yutong looked like he was about to cry. Lin Yan was speechless. Qi Xiaoyuan was speechless. "Madam Lin Yan, this silly. Is this man your friend?" Qi Xiaoyuan asked curiously. "My son." Lin Yan grinned. // You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.